Kaugnay pa rin ang report ng Human Rights Watch tungkol sa kampanya kontra droga ng Administrasyong Duterte. Mga kausap natin si Police Director Oscar Albayalde, hepe ng NCR Police Office. Mga kapuso, maaari rin kayong sumali sa ating diskusyon. Mag-tweet lang gamit ang hashtag na AskNTG. Magandang umaga, sir.
Magandang umaga sa iyo, Howie.
Well, una, reaction niyo dun sa pinakahuling statement ni Pangulong Duterte na criminals have no humanity. Anong dating sa inyo bilang isang law enforcer?
Well, yung sinasabi siguro ng ating presidente na gano'n, no? Kasi yung mga criminal, of course, they only think of themselves, no? Palagi personal interest ito, yung mga motive nila, kung paano nila makagain ng kanilang mga or magagawa ng kanilang activity. And they don't care actually, no? Kung makapatay sila o hindi, no? And of course, we have seen lately na marami talagang mga criminal ngayon na if you go out the street, maraming naging biktima na estudyante na kukunin lang yung cellphone, sasaksakin yung estudyante, babarilin yung estudyante, kukunin lang yung bag or cellphones. So ito ang nakita ng ating presidente, no? Kaya ito, sabi nga niya, na itong mga nangyayaring criminality, no, dito sa ating lansangan are all drug related. Kasi kung ikaw ordinary kang or normal na criminal ka, no, kung makita natin, if we compare before and here now, na kung talagang malawak yung problema natin sa illegal na drugs, noon dati nanakawan ka lang or snatching yung bag mo, no? At walang dalang panakit o panaksak yung kriminal. Ngayon, bago ka kukunin yung bag, babarilin ka muna. Bago kukunin yung cellphone mo, sasaksakin ka muna. Ang dami na nangyaring ganyan. Remember, no, less than yung mga prominent anak ng mga prominent families, no, naging biktima sa ganyan.
Okay, siguro wala naman debate or question dun sa mga sinasabi niyo na maraming ginagawang masama itong ibang kriminal. Pero to say na hindi na sila tao, ano kayang policy implication on pagdating sa law enforcement? Hindi nyo na ba kikilalanin yung kanilang karapatan bilang tao? Dahil hindi na nga sila tao. They're not, kung maniniwala tayo doon, if we adhere to that belief na hindi na tao yung mga kriminal. Kasi ang laki ng implication yan kung maniniwala ka sa ganun.
No, Howie, sa Philippine National Police, whenever we conduct operations, we are bounded by our police operational procedures, no? No, kung saan we are mandated to subscribe to the rule of law and of course to respect human rights lagi. Nandun dun sa POP natin yan, Howie. So ang difference lang siguro ngayon is we are really careful dito sa mga operations na to. It's because nakita natin how violent these criminals are now. Yun ang pinag-iba noon at saka ngayon.
Okay, dito naman sa report ng Human Rights Watch, no, they released a new report about the Philippines. Siguro ay narinig nyo rin yung mga ulat tungkol dyan. Baka maaaring nabasa nyo rin. Himayan natin ng ibang findings sa report. Naghahanda kami ng graphics. Sabi kasi ng Human Rights Watch ay hindi raw hiwalay sa operasyon ng mga pulis ang operasyon ng mga vigilante. Kumbaga may blurring of lines between legitimate police operations and extrajudicial killings, making it appear na iisa lang umano ang nasa likod nito. Kasi all this time, yung point ninyo, no, ng police is that hindi nyo kilala itong mga vigilantes. It's a separate operation. Hindi nyo alam kung sino yung may pakana niyan, maaaring sindikato, or etc. etc. Pero ang sinasabi ngayon ng Human Rights Watch ay police din yung may pakana dyan and kilala nyo kung sino yung gumagawa nitong mga sinasabing extrajudicial killings.
Well, unang-una, Howie, no, dun sa mga sinasabing commonly called the extrajudicial killings or what we call the death under investigations, particularly here in Metro Manila, no, with the more than 1,000 cases dito sa Metro Manila, we have already solved 603 of them. No, itong mga kaso na to. Ibig sabihin na-identify na natin kung sino yung mga perpetrators, may nakakulong na. And of course, kung mapansin natin last January, no, yung sinasabi nating hindi natin identified kung sinong gumagawa, may na-identify na tayo dito, kaya nga nakapag-file tayo ng kaso, kaya nga meron tayong na-aresto or even napatay sa engkwentro. Of late, yung last January nga, nakahuli tayo ng mga involved dito, yung CSG, no, yung Continental Sentinel Group of the Philippines, na kung saan meron silang more than 200 members dito sa NCR alone. No? At sila ang na-involved dun sa pagpatay sa pagpatay nung isang 16 years old na ginagamit nila na mag-recycle ng droga at pangungulekta ng kotong dun sa area nila. So parang ito ay territorial din, no? Nangungulekta ng mga tong from the different residents dun sa barangay.
Okay, let me ask you about those, itong mga nabanggit nyo, itong Continental Sentinel Group. So, kumbaga, this is a gang. It's a criminal gang? Yung ba
Actually, ang sabi nila, they're CVOs, no? Yung mga civilian volunteers sila. So they took advantage of this tukhang, no? Although
Anong
hindi
ibig sabihin
sila
nun?
accredited.
Is this, no,
They
so it's
consider
not sanctioned by the
Yes,
police?
it's not sanctioned. They're
Civilian
not,
volunteers,
yes,
though.
Sinasabi nila na sila ay civilian volunteers. But then,
mga tanod ba to? Parang ganon?
Basically, they're not. Mga civilians lang talaga na kunwari they want to help dun sa peace and order, no? Yung maintenance ng peace and order dun sa lugar. And sometimes they abuse yung pag sila, lalong-lalo na pag sila ay na-accredit ng Philippine National Police. Kasi there are processes kung paano ma-accredit ang isang NGO o kung gusto nila mag-volunteer doon sa o makatulong doon sa peace and order. And of course, meron din tayong nahuli na active police dito. Itong si PO3 Muhammad, no? If you'll remember, yung tinapon niyang pinagbabaril niya sa Batangas at fortunately, nabuhay yung kanyang biktima na yun ang ginagamit din niya na mag-recycle nung sa mga nare-recover niyang shabu. So, we are not discounting the fact na talagang most probably, no? We're not saying yes, but most probably mayroon mangilan-gilan, no? Meron mangilan-gilan who could be possibly. Remember, ang daming na-involved na pulis sa illegal drugs, particularly yung sinasabi natin dito sa NCRPO ng mga ninja cops.
So sinasabi nyo, it could be correct, itong Human Rights Watch assertion or allegation na may sangkot na mga pulis dito sa ibang extrajudicial killings.
Kaya nga pwedeng meron, no? Pwedeng meron. It's not totally correct, no? And I think ang sinasabi nga ng Human Rights Watch is wala pa naman silang conclusion dito. All they're doing is investigation. And we're open for investigation. Kasi itong mga operations na nga na to, these are all being investigated. Meron kaming rito, yung sinasabi nating oversight committee that investigates all these commonly called EJKs. Kaya ang solution namin dito ay lalong tumaas, especially nung tumigil tayo dun sa anti-illegal drugs operations natin for almost a month yung pagtigil.
January 30?
Yes, almost a month na pagtigil ng ano.
Pero sinasabi niyo, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung extrajudicial killings despite tumigil din yung EJK.
Maraming natigil. It's because number one, we concentrated on our Oplan Sita, no? Dahil yung usually nakita natin dito is yung perpetrated by riding in tandem. So paano natin ma-prevent yung mga riding in tandem? Is number one is basically is patrol and police visibility and yung ating Oplan Sita.
So ang sinasabi nyo, it's not a coincidence na tumigil o humina na ito, o kumonte itong extrajudicial killings nung in-stop itong drug war ng PNP.
At saka meron pang ano dito.
Because some people might say that's a bit suspicious.
No, of course not. Kasi ang ano diyan is yun nga kaya ito na minimize actually. We admit na meron pa ring mga incidents of killings. But then hindi naman ito lahat kasi tungkol sa illegal drugs. Some of them are merong diyan na because of love triangle, merong because of pera, may pagkakautangan yun. Ang problema kasi, when there's killing, they always relate it to illegal drugs.
At kahit walang kinalaman sa droga, pwedeng lagyan ng karatula or placard na
kaya
huwag tularan.
Ito na yung mga taong nagtitake advantage ngayon dun sa anti-illegal drugs operation ng Philippine National
But you're
Police.
saying all of these deaths are being investigated.
Yes,
There are over
yes.
7,000. So these are a lot of investigations.
Yes.
Oo.
That's why we're not sitting pat on this. We have this oversight committee on a weekly basis. Tinitignan natin ang investigation. We have submitted several ballistics examination sa ating crime lab and we expect na kapag lumabas yung ballistics examinations natin dito, we will be able to identify kung sino talagang grupo ito yung mga iba pang gumagawa dito sa mga killings na
And then you said that over 600 have been solved.
603, yes.
So
The 7,000 is the whole country. We
Yes.
have only more than 1,000 dito
doon sa
sa the NCR. So we have
NCR.
603.
So 603
yes.
of these cases
Solved.
have been solved.
Yes.
What do you say?
Yung cleared, ibig sabihin,
What do you mean by solved?
merong-
Na-aresto yung suspect.
Merong na-aresto, merong napatay sa enkwentro, at merong na-identify. But all these cases were filed in court, these 603 cases.
And is there a pattern among these over over 600. Are any of them policemen or assets of the police?
Nakita natin is number one, yung sinasabi nga natin na nahuli natin sa Manila area, yung CSG, members of the CSG, and these other groups, and of course yung mga drug groups, no, killing each other. Kasi may gangs ito may gangs ito, and of course we have seen yung mga na-identify natin yung mga gun for hire na personalities natin.
Gun for hire.
Yes.
Okay. Kasi of course in the Amnesty report and also the Human Rights report, sinasabi itong guns for hire are also being hired by the police.
Of course not. Wala
Okay.
tayong pang-hire dyan, ha? Wala tayong, we have no
wala ba?
we have no funding for that.
Okay. Okay, doon sa Human Rights Watch report, balikan lang natin to. Kasi may mga specific cases sila doon na supposedly inimbestigahan nila. Lumabas na sa media yung iba, binalikan nila, and then yun nga, meron silang sinasabi na yung isa nga rito ay mistaken identity daw. Itong may certain Antonio, no? So, Bonifacio Antonio, binaril daw na mga nakabonet na salarin habang nakikipag-inuman sa barangay Rosario, Pasig noong September 14 pa, 2016. Pero ang sabi sa Human Rights Watch, dahil binalikan ng mga investigators na itong kasong to, itong community, lumalabas na mistaken identity raw ang pagpatay kay Antonio, at sabi rin ng mga kaanak ng biktima, dumating daw ang mga pulis habang nasa lugar pa ang mga salarin, kaya paniwala nila mga undercover police operatives umano ang mga ito. So this is within your jurisdiction. Do you recall if this specific
Yes,
case was also investigated by your group?
Yeah, itong mga kaso ng kasi to, these are all allegations, no? No, actually ito are all testimonial testimonies of the relatives ng mga victims, no? So kapag may nakukuha tayong mga ganyang allegations, these are readily investigated by no less than our Internal Affairs Service, no? Pwera pa yung, of course, yung ating pwede ring pumasok ang NAPOLCOM or yung ating local units, the region for that matter. Kaya itong mga allegations na, kung may mga allegations of any irregularities or any involvement ng ating PNP, no, these are all being investigated by our Internal Affairs Service.
Okay, so hindi lang mga kaanak ito, mga nakasaksi mismo
Yes.
ng incident. So you're not dismissing the allegations in this report by Human Rights Watch, no, as just parang mga kalaban ng mga gobyerno. You're not just dismissive of them. You're actually looking into these specific cases yourself.
Yes, of course. Dito lang sa NCR, no, yung ating hinahandle na administrative cases, mga involvement in grave misconduct or grave offenses ng ating mga kapulisan. There are already 788 dito, no? And if we'll total everything, pati yung mga less grave and less serious offenses, we have around 1,315 na cases na ng ating mga pulis dito sa NCR na tinitignan natin.
Okay, there was another case na ito nga, binalikan ng Human Rights Watch, na-cover din ng GMA News, na napanood din namin ulit, no? Yung kaso ni Oliver de la Cruz, napatay siya matapos umunong manlaban sa isang buy-bust operation sa San Ildefonso, Bulacan noong July 1 pa, 2016. The very first day of office ni Pangulong Duterte, no? Pero ang sabi sa Human Rights Watch report, base sa salaysay ng mga saksi at kaanak ng biktima, we saw him kneeling in a surrendering position. The men grabbed him and slammed him into concrete wall several times. Oliver's face was bleeding from being hit, and he was begging them for mercy when he was shot. May mga nababalitaan ba kayong ganitong klaseng kaso? I don't expect you to know the specifics of this particular case. Sa dami ng mga kaso. But are you familiar, first of all, with this particular case?
Well, yung ganun, I'm sure it will be, that is being investigated by the regional headquarters yan, no? Dito sa NCR, remember, meron din naman, remember the Pasay incidents, no? Twice yun, yung sa Pasay incidents.
Yung may recording pa, nasa cellphone.
Diba? Yes. Those are being investigated and cases were filed. And pumasok ang ating National Bureau of Investigation dyan. Sila nag-imbestigan ng kaso na yon. So, sabi ko nga, marami kasing investigative agencies dito sa ating Pilipinas na pwedeng mag-imbestiga dyan sa mga ganyang accusations o ganyang mga incidents, no? And of course, yung mag-ama dun sa Pasay din, na-imbestiga din yon. And immediately...
They were already in the custody of the police.
Yes. Kaya nga, immediately, yung mga nai-involve na police dyan, we put them in restrictions, no? We put them in restrictive custody, pending the investigation, of course.
Okay, just want to take up one final case, no? Kasi medyo sensational din ito. Itong transgender woman na taga Navotas City, Heart de Chavez, and she was being accused then of of just minor drug dealing. Sabi sa Human Rights Watch report, dati nang sumuko sa Oplan Tokhang si De Chavez. So the police were quite familiar with her already. Nahuli rin siya ng mga pulis. Pero ayon sa kanyang pamilya, hiningan daw sila ng 50,000 piso ng pulis sa kapalit ng pagpapalaya. Pero dahil wala raw silang pera, 10,000 piso lang ang naibigay nila. After 3 days, kinuha ulit si De Chavez ng mga nakamaskarang salarin at saka pinatay. Ayon sa police report, hindi binanggit na kinuha siya ng mga gunmen. Ang sabi lang sa police report, nakita ng mga residente ang kanyang bangkay. So, may mga ganong, dito sa dami ng inyong iniimbestiga, meron din bang mga ganong klaseng pangyayari na ginagamit din yung Oplan na Tokhang to extort money from just ordinary people like that?
Well, unang-una, ito yung sinasabi natin ng part ng ating internal cleansing operations. Kaya nga ginawa natin yung counterintelligence task force natin dito, no? Kaya we created the counterintelligence task force sa national level to look into these allegations, no? Kung talagang involved yung ating mga pulis dito sa sinasabi na naman nilang Tokhang for ransom, no? Na term nilang Tokhang for ransom. So, ito makikita naman natin. And of course, kung may mga incidents na ganyan, mga incidents of extortion, no? Yung una pa lang sana, kung in-extortan na sila ng 50,000, kung nagsumbong yung relatives na yon sa PNP, no? We could have done something there, no? Hindi yung sila o sinasabi nilang natatakot sila na magsumbong, no? Kung natatakot sila magsumbong dun sa local police, no, they can always go to the headquarters, sa district headquarters, sa regional headquarters, or to the national headquarters for that matter, or they can go to the NBI. Remember, ang dami na nahuli mga pulis ng NBI na involved in extortion. So, para maiwasan sana natin yung mga ganong klaseng insidente.
But of course, you and I
Yes.
know, fear is a big obstacle to overcome, lalo na mga ordinaryong tao doon sa mga
Totoo yan.
sa
Totoo
urban
yan. Yes.
poor communities.
Kaya yung sinasabi nila, yung Tokhang for ransom, let me just explain it a little. Kasi yung iba sinasabi nila, police ang involved, no? There's no evidence that pinpoints to the police na involved dito sa Oplan Tokhang. Yung sinasabing Tokhang for ransom. Lahat ng naimbestigan namin na sinasabi nilang may tumawag sa kanila, na in-extortion sila ng pera, bibigay nila yung number. When we check on the number, yung mga number na yun, they're not even from Metro Manila. They're not even from Luzon for that matter. Yung iba, madalas sa kanila from Visayas and Mindanao. So, meron kasi mga criminal minds dito that take advantage of the situation, no? Ito ang uso ngayon. So look at, for example, yung pyramiding, tapos ngayon may bagong style na naman, tapos ito, no? They took advantage of this Tokhang operations. So kung ito nakita natin na paano nila may turo yung police na involved dito, where in fact itong mga tumatawag na to, they're not even from this place, particularly here in NCR. Samantala yung tinatawagan nila is from NCR. Tapos pag makita mo yung cellphone, dun sa ibang lugar, particularly nga sa Mindanao and Visayas. So, hindi natin talaga masabi na itong mga pulis na to are the ones involved dito sa Tokhang for ransom na to.
Okay, but let's go to a very specific case na ngayon it's known worldwide. Itong kaso ng Koreanong Ji Ik-ju. Lumalabas naman doon sa mga hearings, no, na malinaw na may police involvement. Siguro aaminin nyo rin na at least in this one particular case. Kaya nga tinigil yung drug war noong January 30 because of that. And then ang dami nga sinabi si Pangulong Duterte na the police has to go through a cleansing period. May sinabi pa siyang 40% daw ng police ay talagang rotten at corrupt to the core. May marami siyang mga sinabing ganun. So it's true that at least in this particular case, there are police involved in Tokhang for ransom.
Yes, this is not actually Tokhang for ransom. It's talagang kidnapping yan. It's not kidnapping at pinatay yung tao dito. But let me tell you this, that this one single act or itong isolated case na to does not bespeak actually of the level of discipline that we have in the Philippine National Police, no? And of course, itong nangyari na yan, the policemen, hindi naman tinolerate yung ginawa nila. They're in jail, they're in custody, at incarcerated sila, no? Natanggal sila sa pagiging police. And now they are being investigated by no less than the National Bureau of Investigation.
So itong sinasabi ni Pangulong Duterte na 40% daw ng police ay maaaring pasaway o scalawag, you think that's exaggerated?
Well, I don't know where the President got his records, no? But on our part sa NCR, nakita naman natin, no? Lately, yung pinadala natin sa Basilan, Basilan. Talagang medyo marami na yon with the 318 na recommend natin na ma-transfer from NCR to Basilan. And of course, that includes yung mga nandun sa narco list ng ating presidente. So, hindi natin alam kung talagang merong 40%. That's a big number actually. Pero dito sa NCR, no, yung ating internal cleansing operations is a continuing process ito. So we are now trying our best to weed out talaga itong mga sinasabi nating misfits or yung mga erring policemen. Kaya yung sinasabi nila kahit walang kaso, provided na merong mga consistent, no, persistent derogatory reports against a policeman, then tinatanggal na natin dun sa pwesto niya just for him for us to remove him dun sa kanyang sphere of influence.
Okay, tinatanggal nyo sa NCR at dito sa Luzon, no? Tapos kumbaga tinatapon nyo sa Basilan. Do you agree with that punishment? At hindi kaya lalong lalala naman yung sitwasyon ng krimen o yung krimen sa Basilan na talagang alam naman natin may pagka-lawless na yung ibang lugar doon?
Yeah, Howie, yung paglipat natin ng isang police from one assignment to another is not punitive in nature. No? This is not a form of punishment. This is all part of the authority of the Chief PNP under Section 26 ng RA 6975. No? He can always deploy and redeploy anybody from one place to another. And most especially ang ating Commander-in-Chief, of course. No? At yung pagtatanggal naman natin ng mga police from one assignment to another, para lang matanggal sila doon sa sinasabi natin kanina na sphere of influence or commonly called na comfort zone. Kasi may network sila dito eh. So we want to cut that immediately. So yung pag-transfer kasi sa kanila is more of a measure na immediate, no? Pero meron tayong long-term measure. Kaya nga meron na tayo ngayon yung Counterintelligence Task Force. We start from the beginning. We start from the recruitment. So ito ay just portion lang ito ng ating internal cleansing operations.
Yeah, so taking them from their comfort zone
Yes.
in Manila or NCR and putting them...
Maputol man lang yung kanilang
But you're
network.
putting them
no?
in Basilan,
Hindi.
which is extreme discomfort naman. So that's not meant to be punitive or a punishment.
Yes, that's not
it's just a
yes.
regular reassignment.
The regular reassignment ito, Howie. It's all in the power of the Chief PNP and of course the Commander-in-Chief.
Okay, maraming salamat sa inyong pananaw at panahon na Police Director Oscar Albayalde.
Thank you, Howie.
Thank you so much, sir.